at the beginning of my monastic life, what challenges did I have? Well, I think the main challenge was just the practice. You do the practice and your mind goes into distraction time after time, and you just have to keep going, pulling it back all the time. That's what I'd say the main thing. As far as the external things are concerned, there was a lot of contention to begin with. We were in Wat Patnam, and things were a bit turbulent at that time. But we moved from there, moved to Wat Tatong, and later on we returned to England, and I was 6 years in England. That was a bit of a challenge, because the others all gave up the robe, and I was holding the baby. And the baby was the English Sangha Trust, but the thing was, I knew perfectly well at that time that I'd have to find a teacher who I could rely upon. And unfortunately I met a Thai person who was coming back to Thailand, and he had a job of going up to the Mekong area and searching for minerals, because he was in the mining department, or they call it now the I can't remember. Anyway, it means the sort of geological department. And when he went out to any place, he'd stay in the nearby Wat and spend the night there. And he'd ask people about the Achans in the area. And he very soon got onto the Achans who came from Thanachan Mun. And when I came to Thailand, he said, "Oh, there are many Achans there whom you could go to." And one day he came to me and he said, "Oh, there's a well-known Achan in Wat Pawan." And I went there. It was Thanachan Mahabua. And I liked him, and I liked the way he behaved and talked. And I asked him if I could come up here, go up to his Wat, and he agreed. So I went, and I've more or less been there since.
Some of the challenges that some people have, say, with passion for women or food or these kind of things, do they trouble you very much in the beginning?
No, not really. Oh, I mean, I won't say they weren't there. They were, but they weren't a big trouble. No, I was fortunate. My karma must have been fairly good in that way.
Did you suffer from much anger as a young monk?
Anger? No, not a lot really. No. Delusion, yes. Delusion, yes. A lot of distraction, distracted thought. It lasted a long time too. Distraction is one of the main problems people have, because the mind tends to go into distraction automatically. And I once questioned, what was the purpose of it? I mean, practical purpose in life. And it seems that it's quite likely to be a method of refreshing memory. At least that's one of the things it does. I'm not saying there aren't others, but it's a refreshment of memories, as the rethinking of them.
My teacher in Switzerland, in the Dhammapala monastery, told me also from this. There's a typical constellation when you are ordained. So often the person where you have the most problems in the monastery is sitting next to you, and you are bonded your whole monastic life with this person. And my teacher told me another month, and I have also experience about this. Can you say something about the typical situation? Is this karma, or what is it? Because you have a person next to you, maybe you have whole monastic life, and the other person, no problem, but there's something difficult in the relationship.
Is there something physical in a relationship like that between two people in a monastic life? Oh, I don't know. It's more likely to be of a psychic nature, if anything. And one can have a relationship with people there. In fact, karma can be very strange. It can put one into a situation where you almost recognize the people that you're with. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. But one almost recognizes them, and one probably drops into a mode of relationship which one's had in the past. Maybe with that person. This is something of the way karma works. It pitches one into a situation which one's already created for oneself in the past. Karma, in fact, is something very important. Karma means action. Action done by body, speech or mind. And karma, when it's done like that, has a result. The result comes up in due course when the conditions are right for it. When the conditions are right means to say that the conditions just by chance happen to be in a suitable mode for that karma to give its result. And this brings one to the point of, can one control one's karma? And the answer is you can partially control it. Because, for instance, if you deliberately put yourself into a dangerous situation, you're chancing your karma. There may be karma there that you're going to have an accident in that situation. Because of that, the Buddha and the Acharyas all say one should avoid dangers that you don't have to go into. If there's something that's dangerous, and you know it's dangerous, and you deliberately put yourself in that situation, that may be giving a chance for some karma to arise. It doesn't matter if it's good karma. If it's bad karma, one must watch out. But really speaking, we can say we create ourselves. Karma means that what we do, we become. And we become that because we've done it. And we create our own future, therefore. And if we want the future to be good, we've got to look very carefully at what karma we make. And be very cautious. And this is where mindfulness comes in. The awareness of what is right and what's wrong. What's good and what's bad. If one practices in the right way and does the right things, one can develop the future being pretty good for one. But if one goes the other way, it can be very bad. Karma is very important. When there's karma, there must be rebirth, or we call it rebirth, but it's really birth dependent on the conditions that preceded it. And when there is birth again, we pitch ourselves into a situation which comes from something we've known in the past, which means our karma, one's own karma. If one's karma is good, it can be a good birth. If it's bad, it can be quite bad. And it's worthwhile taking a look at the world and thinking, if you were born again, where would be a good place to be born? And you'll find there are not many places. The world's a pretty rough place now. So the story of that is that one should try and get free beforehand, or get to such a state where one's got more certainty. And if one wants something to stir one's practice up, to give one good reason why one should practice hard, one should think of karma and its results and the way of rebirth. It's very important.
When you say to avoid dangerous situations, isn't the forest life that we lead kind of oriented towards turning and facing our fears and sometimes moving into places that aren't necessarily life-threatening but that are physically difficult and even are on the edge of danger, especially if one isn't as heedless?
Oh, as for which one? To have his say. Enough. Okay. Enough. You ask, is it reasonable that we should get into dangerous and difficult positions in the forest and so on when one's practicing? The thing is, it's not so much